Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today's video I'm going to showcase all camera options that my Motorola Edge 20 has. So I'm going to show you all features in the field and show you what the results are by using this smartphone as a camera. And in addition I will give some tips and tricks regarding the smartphone's features and functions and give my honest opinion. Now, some of these features I haven't used these at all because it's basically the first time I'm taking out this smartphone in the field. So let's discover together what the smartphone is capable of. But first, it's time for a little intro. How I'm going to do it. I'm going to record everything using my GoPro and record my screen on my smartphone. And basically what I'm going to do is walk around through this forest and through several other places, and whenever I see a good opportunity to use a certain feature, I'm going to showcase it on both of my smartphone screen and in POV. And that way you can see what I'm doing, and that way you can see how everything works on the smartphone itself. And I will pop up the results on screen as well. I hope you like it. So first of all, one of my most favorite features of the smartphones of Motorola are back, which is the double shake to open up the camera instantly. So I'm going to do that now, and voila! It instantly opens the camera app with the latest settings I used, and if I do it once more it flips to the selfie camera. So hi! Anyway, I'm standing here between these beautiful trees. These trees grow really low to the ground, and over there is the sun. I'm just gonna move slightly to a different place. Ooh. Before I will showcase you the first function of this camera app. Normally there's a lot of Galloway cows grazing over here, but right now they aren't. And last year, I will pop up the link to that video, but last year a lot of mushrooms were growing over here, and I already see some over here, but they're not the most beautiful ones. I'm going to look a bit further whether I can find some other ones. Ooh. So there are some beautiful mushrooms over here, but I'm looking for smaller ones which are a bit more isolated. Basically what I'm looking for is something to create contrast, because I want to try out the macro function of the camera first. Obviously I already tried it to record the last video where I gave you some tips and tricks for smartphone photography in general. Yeah, this year there are some mushrooms. Okay, I just found some perfect ones over here on this tree. So this is perfect because these are isolated mushrooms. Look at those. Alright, so we are in the photo app. I hope you can see this, and I'm first going to showcase you the options. So you first of all have video mode. That's what I use to record most of my videos whenever I am talking to you guys. I'm not going to cover video today, that's for a different video, so only photography. So then you have photo. Here in the lower left corner you can use Google Lens to scan anything in the environment and then instantly look it up on the internet. It's a really useful function. Then what else do we have? We have 3 different cameras, 1, 2, 3. We have a normal camera, which is the one-time zoom. Then we have a zoom lens, which zooms in 3 times. And then we have a wide lens, basically, which is half of the size of the normal lens. And then we have a macro function. So these are the 4 different types of functions we have. And then whenever you pick, I most of the time shoot in 1-time zoom. Now you can also zoom digitally. You are able to zoom in up to 30 times digitally. But like I said in my previous video, never do that because you basically destroy the quality. So I'm going to switch back to 1-time zoom. Okay, so that's it regarding the type of zoom you can do. And then if you go here to the menu, you are basically able to set different settings like flashlight. I never put flashlight in automatic mode. I only use it whenever I want to shoot in really dark spots or do something creative and use the flashlight on purpose. Then you have a self timer, and then this is active photos. This feature I basically never used it and I don't really know what it does. Basically what it does is it switches off HDR mode, and it helps to take photos whenever you are moving fast in a certain direction or recording fast moving objects. But in general you never use your smartphone for that, so I leave everything focused on the best quality and I only use HDR mode and things like that on the smartphone and never use active photos. And then the image size, you can either choose 3:4 ratio or 9:16, which is more zoomed in, it seems. Or you can choose to pick this entire screen, and I need to look it up what the screen size is of the smartphone. I will post it on the screen right now. So those are the type of shots I normally shoot, always using 3:4 ratio, because this gives you the most liberty later in post to even edit the photo to a 9:16 ratio as well. Okay, so that's it regarding the photo formats and things like that. If you go here to the settings, you can see that this smartphone is able to recognize several things, such as AI that reduces noise and improves the photos whenever the light is not sufficient. It can help you to basically level your photo whenever you point your smartphone a bit more off, and it's not completely level, then it will level the horizon for you. I don't use these kind of features at all. So for photos you can choose between several things, like photo resolution here. For the back cameras is 12 megapixels and 108 megapixels whenever you choose to take an ultra photo. More on that later on. Or you can choose 27 megapixels ultra pixel or 8 megapixels. I don't know why you should pick the lower option, so I'm going to stick to the 12 megapixel option. Then the photo resolution on the front is also 8 megapixels and 32 megapixels with improved AI. And then HDR photos, you can put it on. And that way, basically, right now I'm shooting in HDR mode. And you can also mirror the selfie camera if you want that and put a watermark on it. And then things like that. Fast record is whenever you shake your smartphone. Then you will be able to open up the camera app instantly, and then here you can put some guidelines on screen to follow the golden rule of thirds and the leveler, like I was talking about earlier on in the video. Okay, now on to the menu of the smartphone photo mode. So right here you can see we have several options and there are some guides. Whenever you have internet access, you can also check those for some tips and tricks regarding taking photos. Okay, so I'm going to leave all settings like I told you before and go to the different modes. So you have portrait mode. Basically what portrait mode does, it creates artificial blur. So So basically it creates depth of field in your shot. So I'm going to use my hand as a model, and you can clearly see that the background will be blurred out. Now this is a feature that mimics the possibilities of using a low aperture on a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. So those are the options, and you can alter it and zoom in really close or zoom out. Those are the possibilities. And if you don't like these blurring effects, you can also reduce it with this slider. So that's the options regarding the portrait photo. And you can also use a self timer every time. Okay, and you can change the ratio as well. So that's the first one. Then this one is basically, I don't know what this does. I'm going to use my hand for this because I'm not able to use the selfie camera now. Oh, it needs to detect a face. Okay, I'm going to check. Ah, yeah, okay. So basically what you can do with this feature is you snap a photo of a model or a selfie, and then what this feature will do is it will swap out the background and cut yourself out of the frame and replace the background. So yeah, a really nice feature, but I've never used it before, and I will try whether I am able to do this in the selfie camera right now, but I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, I will just try it. Okay, so this is what the camera basically does. So it cuts out your subject from the frame, and to be honest, yeah, you need to keep in mind that this photo was taken in a really busy background, and except for my hair, I have to say that this feature, even the blacks right here, are really beautiful cutouts. So if you ever want to use this feature, this is what this feature will do. Okay. So this is next one, and a spot color, basically what this will do. And so I'm going to move around a little bit. Yeah, for instance this one, these leaves over here. What spot color will do is select a color. So you basically tap on the screen on the color you want to accentuate, and basically what it will do is reduce the saturation of all other colors that are not, and you can play around with this slider here, and basically what you will do is take a selective color photo. So you can really take creative photos with this. For instance, if I want to fade out all the green tones, like this, the scene would look like this. Now again, this is something you can do in Photoshop or in post-production later on, so I'm not going to use this feature too much. But for instance, whenever you want to shoot mushrooms, I can imagine this would be really cool to already reduce the green tones a little bit in the photo. So that's the next spot color. Then night vision, yeah, obviously I can't do this right now, so I will do this in a different video. Next feature, Cinegraph. Basically what this feature does, and this would be perfect for the falling leaves. So whatever I want to do is tap the screen to focus, and then tap here. And keep pressing the button. Ah yes, this is Cinegraph. So it explains what you should do. But basically this scene isn't a great example for that. But whenever you have, for instance, a waterfall, you can use the pencil on screen you can color basically, or mask if you want to use proper video editing words like this. You can remove some parts if you think you don't want movement in there. So I'm going, this is a really rough example. And then basically what happens is that all moving parts from the upper screen, which I masked out, will start moving, and the other part of the photo will be static. So this is really cool, for instance, whenever you are shooting a waterfall or a flowing river. So this is Cinegraph. Now the interesting things are coming. This is panoramic mode, and I really love panorama shots because you can do really creative photos with it. For instance, let's take a photo over here because I love the light here. So I'm going to tap, and you can basically move horizontal, vertical, whatever you want, and you can shoot all the way a 360 photo, I believe. But right now I'm not sure what's gonna happen because yeah, and then you can basically move around in the photo using this function. Yeah, but also one thing, guys, you can also play around in a creative way with panoramic shots. I'm going to make a video in the future about that. So for instance over here, and you can just use a vertical one, and then whenever you start to move out of frame, it will stop with taking the photo. So that's panoramic mode. Group selfie, okay, I can't do that either, but basically whenever you're with a large group, you can use the same function and it will just stitch all photos together it took, and then you will have one huge panoramic selfie. So the time where not everyone will be in screen is over. So this is ultra resolution, and I'm going to test this function. So Motorola states that in this function it will create a 108 megapixel photo. So I'm going to zoom in on this. Okay, it takes a bit longer to snap the photo, but basically according to the website, what this function does is that your smartphone will capture, I believe, 9 different images and in different lighting conditions, so different exposures, and then stitch them all together, and so you basically create a really huge file which has way more information. So it's some sort of form of HDR photo, but it stitches all those pixels together, and oh, I love how these mushrooms are. This will be beautiful for the next example, which will be live filter. Basically live filter, what this does is a bit like Instagram, I believe. So you snap a photo and you have different modes to edit the photo already. Not interesting for photographers, but if you're not interested in post editing or editing and post production, then this feature is perfect for you. Then you have the Pro mode, and this feature is really interesting because this feature will give you several options. I'm going to switch on RAW for Pro mode, 3:4 ratio, no timer, no flash, and things like that. So why RAW? RAW offers you way more possibilities to edit later on in post because it records and doesn't process anything on the phone itself, and that's what photographers prefer the most. So for instance here, this photo, oh, damn, I love, and this is only the normal lens, but if I flip this over to macro, I just don't know how close I need to get. I'm going to stay with the normal modes. Okay, so you can basically tune everything by yours depending on, and apparently it gives you some suggestions. So you tap the screen, you have the histogram over here. Oh, histogram disappeared. The focus is autofocus, but you can flip it to macro. Ah yeah, okay, it's like that. Okay, and the macro is really nice. I'm going to test it out, and you can put all settings in auto, but I basically love to use the ISO 100 only. Okay, and the manual focus. Okay, this is a really beautiful photo. I need a bit longer shutter time. And one benefit compared to my DSLR camera is that it basically shows you live on screen how the photo will look like. So that's a really great thing. So the Pro mode, really nice features, Motorola. And scan, obviously this is to scan any kind of document. I'm not gonna be able to do that right here. And then double recording. This is something important and I forgot about this function, but basically this is really smart, and this is focused on vloggers, I think. So basically what you can do is you can talk to the camera, it will record your talking like you can see on screen right now, but in the meantime it will also record using the backward camera, and then you will have two separate video files, which is really easy to create vlogs and talk simultaneously while showcasing something in nature. So that's double recording, and that's basically it regarding the photos. Now I didn't do everything. I'm going to flip to basic photo mode because you still have that one as well, and I'm going to show you the differences between a normal photo and I just walked here around and I love this composition right here. I'm going to step up here. If you want tips regarding actually taking photos using your smartphone, then I will refer to one of my most recent videos. So this is the normal lens. You can also play around with the EV, which is the exposure values on screen. And then if you want to use a wide angle lens, then this is the result you get. So basically this lens, I don't know how wide it is, but it is way more wider compared to the normal lens, which is perfect. And I tend to use this one more, simply because I have the feeling that this camera really zooms in a lot in normal mode. This just might be me because I still compare it with my old smartphone, Motorola One-Action. Then here you can also see on screen that the phone suggests some settings. So for instance here it will suggest me that I would be better off to use the macro lens. So for these I will correct a little bit. Now this is obviously overexposed. Okay, so this is all automatic mode, obviously. I'm going to move to a different place because I want to showcase you some older scenes as well. Yeah, for instance, these smaller mushrooms, like they are perfectly lit right now. So this is all with the macro function of the camera. Now it's having a bit of difficulties, and it's suggesting me to switch over to normal mode. Oh, there's also this tele lens, and I didn't show you that yet, but honestly, if you move a bit around, for instance over there, I have to say that the tele lens functions are really cool as well. Now tele lens, this is a 3x physical zoom, so no digital zoom. And like I told you in my previous video, digital zoom isn't one of my favorite settings, but the fact that you can zoom in, I mean, look. So this is the wide angle, this is one time zoom, so the normal zoom basically, the normal lens function, and this is the zoom. So this is 3 times zoom, 1 time zoom, half zoom, so basically wide angle lens. Now just remember guys, all of these functions only record in JPEG file, because the smartphone does some processing on the files itself. So whenever you pick a special mode, which is a different mode compared to the Pro mode, then you will be recording everything in JPEG files. That's the only downside of it, but I think the files are really great and the results are really stunning. These were the different camera modes on the Motorola Edge, as of today at least. Today is the 29th of October, so the smartphone hasn't been too long out on the market, but the results are really epic, and I know already that I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Now, with that being said, I really hope this video was a bit helpful, and I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, and if you didn't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. And just remember guys, you don't need to be great to start, but start to become great. Bye!